Hi. It's been a while since I've done one of these more casual commentaries where I just talk into my microphone with Audacity running in the background while I just go over some thoughts that I've had over the last couple of days and updates and things like that and stuff that I'm doing and that's going forward for me. As a lot of you already know, I'm sure that anyone who's like close to me has seen this channel. They know that all this content exists and stuff, and probably want to know what's the future really like. And to give context, really, recently Riot Games announced that they would no longer be supporting competitive Legends of Runeterra. PvP modes are basically being put into hibernation. There's no reason to play ranked anymore. There are no more gauntlets. There are no more opens. There's nothing for the PvP player to grind for, and that's because the PvE player base is purportedly a lot larger than the PvP base. Even though a lot of the conversation around the game is PvP and stuff, I can still understand that people really enjoy the PvE aspect, and that people who play the PvP version will still go and play PvE, and people who don't like PvP because it gives them too much anxiety will go play Path of Champions and all of that. So I totally understand that they want to focus on the mode that brought everyone together. But what that means for me is that I'm not going to be working on Runeterra content anymore. I think that trying to continue working in a space like where I am right now is that I'm streaming to just a couple of people usually, that can watch my content and everything. And if I keep trying to go all in on Legends of Runeterra in the next couple of months in terms of PvP content, because that's what I enjoy playing, I'm not going to be going anywhere, because at some point it'll all shut down. Like, none of it's going to be viable anymore. Now, the focus over to Path of Champions, the reason why I'm not going over to Path of Champions is because I honestly don't like Path of Champions. And the reason why I don't like Path of Champions is because it feels like AI matches with really weird modifiers stacked on top. Which sounds weird, because I know that Slay the Spire kind of does a similar thing. You build your own deck, you then fight against a bunch of different monsters, and try to get to the end, defeat the boss and all that. And I have a couple hundred hours in Slay the Spire. But for Legends of Runeterra, the unique puzzle to me was trying to build the most unique decks, or find the most unique decks that you could play in player versus player modes, and then test those against people who actually had working brains. Whereas with the Path of Champions feels eerily close to the VSAI matches that I would play. The reason I play VSAI matches was because I would sometimes get a new deck in that I had no idea how it operated, so I just wanted to play the cards and see how they worked. But then I would take that into ranked. So this is how I found decks like Elder Dragon Evelynn, which I think I had some massive win rate across the couple of playdays that I had with it. I also had like some 80% win rate across another 20 plus matches with Nami Kennen, all that being in like Diamond and Masters Elo. And that freedom of deck building, or that freedom to look for other decks on Runeterra AR and copy them into my library to then test them against people who knew what they were doing, who wanted to play around specific cards, was thrilling to say the least. Like, knowing that I could beat Gem with this goofy ass Nami Kennen list was the funniest thing to me, because nobody expects Nami and Kennen to be a good deck, and it really wasn't, but it still worked out a lot more often than it should have. And Path of Champions just isn't the future for me at all. And that sucks, because Legends of Runeterra, in terms of its PvP side of things, was the first game and the first community where I felt like it was always kind of there for me. When I didn't know what else to stream on a day. Like, a lot of the times whenever it comes to streaming, I don't know what to play, and I'll just have a game open and I decide, okay, I need to just hit the start streaming button and people will show up, and a lot of people do, and I'm very grateful for having people who even show up to any of my streams that I do at all. But Legends of Runeterra, I uniquely felt like that was something that I was good at, that I was discovering, that I knew people who would help collaborate on the material that I was creating. And it was always kind of there as this backup community, as these people that I could interact with. There are so many cool connections that I had through Legends of Runeterra. The people that I met with Noximus, the people I met with Lancers, the people that I met through the Mystic Shot podcast tournaments, the people that I met through even Mastering Runeterra back a couple of years ago when I really first started playing ladder more seriously for the first time. People in Mastering Runeterra like Leovold is one name that really comes to mind. Sauron379 I think was another one. Davebo as well was extremely instrumental in me finding my love for Jace Lux as a deck. And I think there was also, there was another player who won a seasonal, whom I think Prodigy was the one that I'm thinking of. But yeah, like one of those classic, the seasonals before the competitive changes, one of the classic seasonals, and like he was in those calls and frequently collaborated with people and said like, hey, here's like how to play this deck and stuff, and was an extremely useful and friendly source of information. Like all these wonderful people that I have met through this community. And because it was such a small community, relatively speaking, in terms of the content creation scene, in terms of the competitive scene, I felt like I was connected, and this was something that I had helped create and was uniquely mine because I had joined a team with Noximus. I had done plenty of casting with the Lancers crew and everything. And now that entire aspect of what I have spent the last almost 3 years doing now in Legends of Runeterra has now been thrown down the drain, I feel homeless, really. Like I feel like I don't belong anywhere anymore. I don't play League of Legends anymore. I really don't play Valorant all that much. Legends of Runeterra was the only Riot property that I really played from at all. And trying to break into other games right now that I enjoy, like I've been playing Dead by Daylight. It's probably going to be the background footage for this game or for this video, but I've been playing Dead by Daylight a good amount. And Dead by Daylight's been out for so many years, and the content creators there are already so established that there's no real way that I feel like can actually get integrated into the community. I don't know where to go for that sort of thing. It's not nearly as low to the ground as Legends of Runeterra was. Same thing with Rainbow Six Siege. Like Rainbow Six Siege content is shit. I think is the best way to put it. I don't think that the people who create the content are trying to create bad content. I just think that in terms of, which is kind of ironic coming from a card game player, but in terms of diversity of like, you know, showing off all the highlights of Rainbow Six Siege, the content of Rainbow Six Siege does not show off the full potential of the gameplay. I also think Dead by Daylight's content scene is kind of trash too, but that's besides the point. If I'm to like go further into criticizing Rainbow Six Siege content, it's either really insane, oh, here's, you know, your latest Bolo or Jinxie highlight montage, or you go into the likes of the ones that are like, oh, here's like 3 champions against 4 platinum players or something like that. And that's just, I understand that there's a lot of effort being put in there, but that's not interesting to me. Like, I don't find that kind of content very interesting overall. And so if I want to try and break out myself, I would have to do that kind of content, which is like, yeah, that's just how the content creation thing goes. But it's not, I don't feel like I identify with that nearly as much as with Legends of Runeterra. It was like, hey, here's this really funny comp idea that I had. Here's this cool narration thing that I can do. I mean, even on this channel specifically, I found a home in creating Legends of Runeterra commentaries. Like, yes, I wasn't the most prolific content creator in the sphere, and I definitely could have uploaded a lot more frequently, but I still, the videos that I did, I felt were uniquely my own, and I felt that they had been something that I could identify with. And with these other games that are so well established, it's just not possible for me to break into that sphere anymore. And the worst part is that I can't hold an audience anymore. Like I can't bring new people in. In fact, I'm losing engagement with the content that I'm making right now because I can't continue. If I continue doing Legends of Runeterra content, it's going to die out in a couple of months. But if I don't do Legends of Runeterra content, I'm having to start from less than ground zero. I'm actually like crawling out of a grave in terms of trying to catch up with everyone else. And it just doesn't, I don't feel like I belong anywhere anymore. Like I'm not good at Dead by Daylight. I don't have everything unlocked. I'm not good at Rainbow Six Siege, even though I've played a ton of it. And like I don't have any other good stream games to play. Do I just like play indie games or anything? Like the level of identity crisis that I have from Legends of Runeterra going under has been monumental in the last few days, really, since it's been out. And it's not going to get any better because there's no future for it anymore. Like, oh, do you want to go to another card game? It's like, no, I don't really want to go to another card game because Legends of Runeterra was so unique to me because it was actually the first card game that I was genuinely interested in. Like, I never got into Magic. I never really got into Hearthstone. I played a little bit like back when it first came out in 2014. And I never really I have Pokemon trading cards, but I collect them. Like they're a collectible item to me. They're not an actual game. And also I have played a bit of the TCG online for Pokemon, and I think it's rather dull because there's no interaction between players. I think Cosmic, who used to do like LOR graphics back in the day before he moved off and did other things, Cosmic put it in such a way that Legends of Runeterra will go down as one of the biggest fumbles in history, because you have Riot Games, one of the largest, if not the largest video game company in the world, creating this card game, but it was so poorly mismanaged that it completely shut down. Now, some people will be like, okay, yeah, no, PvE is great and everything, and I don't want to say that people who enjoy PvE are responsible for the death of Legends of Runeterra, because people who played PvP were also playing PvE, so they're still like in this mutual pool together anyway. I think you're allowed to enjoy the game for the fullest. Like, what am I going to say? Oh, wow, you only play standard in Rainbow Six Siege? Gosh, you must absolutely hate us ranked players. Like, no, you just preferred to not play ranked, and that's totally fine. So I don't want anybody to think that I'm like mad at them specifically. I'm talking about myself. I'm talking about the way that I feel after this announcement, and that feeling is genuinely empty and directionless. I can continue playing Dead by Daylight. Like, I'll keep grinding away at that, but I just don't really know what to do with myself anymore, and this is like the first time in a year and a half that I felt like this. Like, my biggest hobby just got shut down. I can't do casting anymore, and it's not like the casting was taking me much anywhere, but I was still having a lot of fun with it, right? Yeah, that's just some general feelings about that. Moving into my next thing, though, in terms of what to do with this channel, what to do with the other channels, because these would usually be content that would be uploaded on the Sojourner Light channel, but instead I'm putting it on the Shiny Sylveon channel. And I think that's because I genuinely do want to continue making, I keep using genuinely a lot, I do want to continue making unedited commentary content, because I have things to say on occasion. I have pieces of information, life points to bring about that I want to talk about. And that is still something I'm going to be uploading, and I think it should go here. This channel will be the channel where I upload stuff that doesn't feel good enough to upload to the main channel, stuff that's not high quality enough, but I felt was that I wanted to get out there anyway, because the little ADHD gremlin in my head wants to publish everything. So here's me satisfying that gremlin. Meanwhile, the Sojourner Light channel, if you're subscribed to it still, I'm probably going to start archiving my Twitch VODs there, starting with the beginning of this year. and we'll upload those there. They won't have any thumbnails or anything. They'll just be old stream VOD archives, so that if you guys want to go back and watch those, that'll be something for you to do. Also, because I'm working on a video right now that's talking about the horrors of live service games. That's the working title that I have right now, and I need some Legends of Runeterra background footage because that's where things are at right now. They are at this point where they just don't have a whole lot left. Anyway, thanks for listening to me ramble for some 15 minutes. I hope you guys are having a better day than I am. And come catch me on Twitch. I stream whenever I can, regularly in the evenings, Pacific time, at @SojournerKai_. See you there. Bye-bye.